Careful, everyone. We're surrounded. I don't see Lone Wolf anywhere, but we have to trust that they'll be fine on their own. The faster we clear these bandits, the sooner we can find them. You can hear your party shouting out coordinated attacks and the distant clamor of weapons. Thankfully, you joined the fray before too long. Addley is focusing more on defense than offense while she's getting swarmed, but you step in, deflecting attacks, and nod your head to her, telling her she can change her focus. Lone Wolf, you're okay? Man, am I so glad to see you. Is the cart woman okay too? You guys weren't attacked, right? You can't go into detail now, but the devil woman has already caught back up. Her again? Ugh, we can't get a break, can we? Oh, duck, Lone Wolf. Vor'ren, Zoroh, look out! They're routing from the east. Don't let up on the west just yet, but keep an eye out. Her ability to sense the battlefield is impressive, almost terrifying. It doesn't take too long for you to finish them off and start tying them up. Phew. I think we're so used to fighting with you that without you it takes way longer to handle enemies. Guess that means you're really an integral part of the party. Oh, shoot, I almost forgot. You said something about that devil, right? Yes, that cart woman was no human, but the devil in disguise once more. Clearly in an attempt to separate you from the party and to strike at Addley.
An interesting assumption. But no, they were mere bandits. When we cleared the city of those rats earlier, I heard their final prayers. And I can assure you, they were no cultists. A disorganized band of fools, in my professional opinion. Hardly worth my time. Certainly not enough to make up for missing out on your previous encounters.
Wow, you're really smart, Vor'ren. I didn't even think to check that. So, just a random encounter then, I suppose. What terrible timing for you to get pulled away, though. She didn't hurt you, right? I don't see any wounds on you. Is your head okay? She didn't jump in there, did she? Addley begins pulling at your clothes and armor to look for injuries, and gets far too close. You remind her that personal space is important to maintain. You exhale and say the devil didn't use her magic, nor did she attack you. She only wanted to give you information. Whether you believe it or not is entirely up in the air, but allegedly there's a man after her life. Me? Is it because of my prophecy? 'Cause I'm like super duper nice. I'm sure if we talked to them, they wouldn't want to kill me anymore. And if they do, we can just be really nice to them and they won't want to. And if that doesn't work, we can always beat them up a little bit. Just like we did with these bandits. Not everything can be dealt with so easily, but you also don't know why he's after her, or who he is. The devil never really told you. But you almost forgot. The devil said she saw a future where you and that fiend worked together. But you would never align yourself with her. And that it was likely just a lie to make you waver. Wow, I couldn't imagine it. You and a devil? You're like way too cool to lower yourself to that. She's probably just trying to get in your head, or trying to drive a wedge between us. Bad news for her, we're way too close for that. Oh, but we should be more focused about all these bandits. How are we going to get these guys all back to town and, well, put in a jail? Vor'ren, Zoroh, sorry to ask you this, but could you keep an eye on them for us? I don't want them to get hurt or get out while we're gone. Lone Wolf and I can just go inform the guards at Silvervale, and for doing this, I promise to pay for the first rounds of drinks for you all. Vor'ren sighs, but Zoroh gets excited about the prospect of shirking off duties and just lazing around. He pulls out a flask and tells her they can trust him to not move from this very spot. Good to hear it. Thank you guys. Lone Wolf, let's hop back on the carriage and get to town. Should only take us a day if I really push it. Since Zoroh and Vor'ren just hunted some food, they should be more than okay. So, what do you say? Want to help escort me into town? Sometimes it feels like she's creating these moments for just the two of you to be alone. You know that's probably not her intention, but it happens so often that you can't help but feel the warmth on your cheeks rise. You shouldn't let your mind wander like this. You step onto the cart and reach your hand out to help her up. To distract yourself, you ask Addley if she's excited to see her parents again. Oh my green, of course I am! Not only do I miss them, but I have so much to catch up with them. I hear rumors about the company a lot, but it's not the same about hearing it from them. Plus, I'm just curious how they've been emotionally, too. No one really talks about how they're doing, only how the business is doing. But I wasn't actually raised in Silvervale, or with my parents, to be honest. At least when I was really young. If her parents didn't raise her, who did? Did they adopt her or have a nanny? Oh, no, I'm definitely their child. But apparently the trading company was going through a rough patch. Not to mention the fact bandits were a more frequent appearance back then. Not exactly the environment you want to raise a kid in. It would have brought the trading company to a halt any time I got sick or worked up from the cart shaking around. So, because of all of that, I was raised all the way over in Seoul. Seoul is all the way across the continent, and is a country now fractured, but forced to stay united by the elements. Looks like you've heard about it before. Well, I was raised in a druid's grove there. Elves and fae helped raise me and taught me about the green faith. They taught me that nature is beautiful and vital for us humanoids to survive, but if we don't sustain it or treat it the right way, its wrath can be terrifying. I spent about 6 years there, just coming into my powers and abilities. They didn't really judge me or try to stifle me for it. They just helped me hone my talents and taught me right from wrong. It was like being in a dream there. But it was kind of too good to be true. Something definitely felt off. Living in the woods is probably the most freeing experience anyone can have, but not being able to leave that grove, it felt wrong. I wanted to go out and do things. I hated not being able to travel and do what I wanted. Because of that, during one of my visits, my parents decided I would join them on the caravans for the company. I'd be able to see the world on the roads, but I would also be able to stay close enough to them so they could keep an eye on me. I guess that wanderlust for travel kept growing because even the trade roads weren't enough for me. Now, here I am, an adventurer who travels coast to coast, unfettered by borders. Does she miss that grove in Seoul? They seem to be like another family for her. Yeah, I definitely do. But it's hard to get a hold of them. Druids and fae who sequester themselves in an enclave aren't the easiest to get a hold of. I've tried letters, magic letters, sending spells, but nothing. I really hope they're not mad I left. I really do think of them like another family. They were the people who taught me so much about my prophecy. But also, they were my first home. Her eyebrows furrow and her grip tightens around the reins of the carriage. You place a hand on her shoulder and say, maybe after you visit her family here, the party can start heading out west again, and maybe you guys can swing by and check on that enclave. You don't know a lot about druids, but you know family well enough. They probably miss her as much as she misses them. You really know what to say whenever I get down. It's an easy job, seeing as a smile is normally plastered across her face. But you do remember the cave, where she was racked with worry and guilt. Hey, I could be happy and upset. People think those emotions are so separate, but it's way more complicated than that. I'm just always optimistic. Even if things look bleak or grim, I know I have the power to overcome it. But that doesn't mean I don't like a bit of encouragement from you here and there. She giggles and lays her head against your arm. Those dark circles under her eyes are really a testament to her tenacity. As you stare at her, she looks up at you with a smile. Thank you for everything. Thank you for meeting me, for listening to my story so patiently, for supporting my bad decisions, for fighting alongside me, and thank you for, well, just being you. I mean it when I say I feel a lot stronger with you by my side. You slowly move your hand to hers and go to interlock them. But you immediately see her face light up, and she shoots her head up, smashing your chin with her head. What were you doing? That was my hand, and people do that when they're, like, together, and they do that kind of thing when they, you know. You rub your chin and say, so you're telling me the Addley Strider, the helping hand, daughter of the Akoff Trading Company, can't handle the touch of someone else's hand, but kissing your cheek is nothing for her? That's different. It was as friends. Besides, it was payback for your teasing. You're always so knightly, and I wanted to show you that I could do it too. And what about the time the two of you kissed? That was so you could give me a potion. It's super different. To think, Addley is someone so bashful about romantic gestures, especially in such a peculiar way. She's pouting, so you tussle her hair around a bit. You tell her you only wanted to hold it because you wanted to show her affection, like how she was showing you some through her words. Really? Oh, sorry. I think I overreacted. I've told you before, I'm a hopeless romantic, so I get a bit sensitive over stuff like that. I just don't want to misunderstand your gestures as romantic because my heart's all stupid and stuff, you know? Well, we've got quite a few hours ahead of us, so, why don't you take a rest while I finish driving? No use in having two tired people trying to explain to the guards what happened with those bandits. You can even rest on me if it'll be more comfortable. It'll be easier to wake you up if anything happens anyways.